Let everything settle. So we'll wait for some time. Be with me. So meanwhile, if you have anything, please start putting in the comment section so that I have an idea what are the questions that we are going to have. So yeah, welcome again. Welcome to the monthly live sync, and we are in May. So welcome. Thank you coming on Friday, guys. Okay, let's quickly see how many people have connected. Okay, I see people have started joining. Okay, cool. So we'll give some time for people to join. And yes, we'll get started soon. So we have very interesting things. So today I'm just giving a heads up, guys. Today I'm going to talk about database and caching. We will cover some of the important concepts in that. And also I have a lot of quizzes today where we are going to talk about real world scenarios and we will see what kind of a like solutions we should have in different scenarios. So those are some real world scenarios that we are going to touch upon in the database and caching. So yeah, good evening, everyone. So I will be just waiting for a couple of more minutes before we get started. So meanwhile, if you have anything, feel free to bombard in the chat so that I know what kind of a question you have. So if you have just joined, welcome, everyone. Good to see so many lovely faces, obviously on the chat. Cool. So feel free to, if you are here, just say good evening, hi, or anything in the chat so that I get an idea that you are here active with me. So just greet, a small greet will really help. Awesome, cool. I see many people started joining, and yep, very soon we will start with our content, guys. Meanwhile, if you have anything to share, please, happy to hear from you guys. I'm good. I'm good. You see, I'm getting more. I'm gaining a lot of weight nowadays. I think I have to start going to gym very soon. So yeah. What about you guys? How you guys are doing? Start watching my videos on the Namaste system design and totally loving with. Okay, that really give me motivation to come down and basically and prepare more content and prepare more value to you guys. And trust me, guys, these days I was not that active basically on the social media, definitely on the YouTube, but very soon you will see the kind of a content which I wanted to create. I'm working on that, and very soon you will see a lot of new stuff on YT on a regular basis. So just be with me, just keep helping me, basically keep giving bit shout out sometimes. That really helps, that really motivates me, pushes me to do something out of my work and job. So trust me, working in corporate, you understand, right? Working in corporate is not that easy. Delivering high expectation in the office is not that easy, and at the same time bringing the content is not that easy, right? Cool. How about the job market? So guys, yes, as I said, I will be covering today content related to database and caching in the system design. And along with that, if you have anything, before I want people to jump in and join. I'm waiting for more people to join, so before, so that they don't lose the important concept that we are going to touch upon. Especially, guys, we have a lot of quizzes based on real world scenarios. So be with me. Trust me, you are going to learn a lot of interesting things. Especially, it's not just the theories but also some practical use cases I will be talking about, and how do you handle those things. So we will be touching around those things as well. And someone talking about, oh, so there are people from Next Leap as well. There are people from Namaste front end system design, Chuck Day front end system design. Good to see. Job market, you guys know. So very important thing with this is for everyone, guys. If you have to be relevant in the industry, if you have to be working in the IT industry, you have to keep yourself updated. You have to be fast enough, right? You have to move fast, you have to deliver enough, right? You have to smart enough, you have to put efforts enough. If you are not putting more in, you can say, enough efforts, and you are thinking like, hey, working couple of hours in a day is more than enough, that will make you relevant and stay, that will help you to stay relevant in the market, probably that's not going to be the case, guys. Very, very important. uh, Create a video on how exactly we follow the radio framework, I can judge. So I have taken that note, and I will ensure that we have so I create some video related to the radio framework. That works. Sounds good. What else? So keep asking these things, guys. So if you can help me what exactly you are looking for, it becomes very easy for me to create the relevant content for you guys, right? So I've taken that note. Good. I see a lot of people from Namaste Front End System Design. Check this Front End System Design. This afternoon I watched the SD1 mock interview. Really great questions. Cool. So very soon, guys, I'm going to start another kind of a, you can say, interview series itself. But it is going to be more interesting. And if you are interested, just let me know on social media. Even you can let me know in the comment if you are interested. I will keep an eye basically on you, and definitely I will be sharing some resources very soon on the internet, so that if you wanted to participate, you will be happy to do that. Fresher will not get a job nowadays easily. uh, to be very fair, guys, before I, as I said, we are going to just start with our content in next 3 minutes. Meanwhile, in next 3 minutes, like while this, I'm going to talk about couple of questions that are coming from the chat. So in sharp next 3 minutes, we will start with our content. One thing someone's talked about: will fresher get job easily nowadays, guys? Trust me, the number of freshers those are graduating, right? It's not easy to basically get a job for most of the people. There is a reason, I will tell you. Because in colleges we focus on just theory, 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 and we were supposed to do something called SD1 job, which is get into the industry and start with some development, learn the coding, and basically do the our work. Now if you see, the AI is going to the next level. I'm not giving any high hope, false hopes. I am very blunt. I will be speaking the things which I see going to happen in the industry. So don't be afraid at the same time. But my intent to talk about those things is very important. You have to be smart enough. You have to move fast. You cannot be stuck with same basic fundamentals which you were probably stuck 2 years back. The way of learning 2 years back and the way of learning in 2025, it can't be same, right? You have to be smart enough. If you are not changing your habit of learning, if you are not now, you are not getting a habit of implementing things out, trying things out, you are still stick with just theories, probably, guys, you might have learned from any educator. That's not going to help. You have to try and get the things on the practical ground. If you are not doing practicals, then, guys, that will be pain point for everyone. System design videos are really helpful. Would love to see more examples. Definitely, Tushar. I will be basically bringing more content. Front end salary ranges. By the way, if you guys don't know about that, let me quickly share my screen. I keep on getting a lot of great question at the same time. Let me share my screen. We'll get started. Okay, let me know if my screen is visible to you guys. Guys, is my screen visible? Okay, just give me a heads up if my screen is visible enough. Uh, just give me a heads up if my screen is visible enough. Okay, I can see many people saying that yes, it is visible. Cool. So one thing, many people talking about, hey, what is the salary expectation in the market, right? How basically we can leverage the AI when we are doing the development, right? All of those things, basically, guys, I have covered. If you guys don't know, I've already covered these things in much detail in this course. In case you are not aware, guys, I will highly recommend this course. I know I created it long back, but you will see what are the career path a front end developer has, how a life of a front end developer looks when you get on a job, right? So similarly, like who should become and who should not look for the front end, even what is the salary expectation, right? Everything basically I tried covering over here. In case you are Yeah, anyone interested, just check this out. This is I put everything in this course as in very transparent, not giving any false hope to anyone. What you can expect from the work perspective, from compensation perspective, everything basically are kept in that particular course. So if you are interested, feel free to look into that. Okay, let me quickly see a couple of more questions before I get into the content. uh, uh, Interview series, yes, Rafiq, that is on my top of my priority list. It's just that wait for a couple of more days, you will hear about that very soon. How to prepare and not prepare for the service based company for a React developer. What to prepare, so again, that is something I talked about. MNC and basically product based company interview expectations, all those things. I know these are very frequent questions basically that comes, right? uh, you can ping me on the group, on the LinkedIn, Jay. I can help you on that, whatever best possible. In the era of AI, who has the better future? Someone with a deep expertise in a single domain, or someone with a 50-60 knowledge across the multiple domain? So guys, very important thing that you have to understand with the AI coming into the picture, right? Depth is always needed. If you don't understand the depth of anything, AI will make you a slave, trust me guys, because AI will do too many things and you won't be able to understand what is the outcome which is generated by AI. If you are not master in the area where you work on, then after some time, after a couple of years, it will become very difficult for you to even match or even understand what AI is basically generating. So trust me, you have to get into the depth so that you understand. You have to leverage AI as your buddy, where you are asking, hey AI, I know I can do this work. It's just that because you can do faster than me, I am taking help from you to complete that work much faster rate as compared to me. It's not like, it should never ever be like, guys, trust me, it should never ever be like I cannot do that work and hence I am asking AI to do that. The day you start getting into that challenges or the mode where you feel this is something I would have not be able to complete or do, but AI is able to do that, then start thinking that your job is at risk, guys. I'm very blunt, but this is the harsh reality that you have to understand. If AI is your buddy who is fast tracking your job and work, then well and good. But the moment it is start replacing in terms of it knows it is able to do much better things as compared to you, it is able to generate lot of hell of things which you can't understand, there is some problem. Okay, so I hope, and I see one pain point in nowadays college student especially, they are too much dependent on AI, where every feature, everything they are generating, they are using AI. Like every product, they try to give some command, the code is generated, they don't understand what is code generated, how it is working. It's a black box. It's just that it is running, and they can basically go and showcase to the word as a mini project and major project, and people are, wow, you created some crazy stuff, right? Trust me guys, you are going to be in struggle. Trust me, you are going to be in struggle, especially people who are in early stage. If you are leveraging AI in that fashion, it is going to be pain for many of you. I'm a bit worried most of the time for the early stage career people, people who are starting their career, who are in the college. Trust me, go help them out to understand. Like they have to get the deeper understanding. If they don't, they are going to be in pain point and challenge. Cool. So guys, what we are going to talk about, we are going to touch upon some of the interesting things basically, which are database and caching in the system design. Now, how many of you know about what is this client side databases and what the caching basically we are talking about? So remember guys, whenever we talk about caching, we talk about performance. The whenever caching comes into the picture, it is more around performance. The more you cache, the better the performance basically it can be. It comes with its own challenges and whatnot. Database is more around persistence, where I can store it so that I can access whenever needed again, right? So there are persistent state, there are non-persistent state. We will be talking about that, but a quick check. How many of you really understand about the database? What are the client side database? What are the caching technique basically do we have on the client? Okay, let me touch upon what we are going to cover on a quick level, guys, I'm going to give you glimpses around all of those things. At the same time, I'm going to ask a lot of quizzes, guys. So there are, I can just show you, there are many of those quizzes basically which I created, where I'm going to give you our real world scenarios, and we are going to discuss probably what could be the solution around those scenarios in the real world, right? That's what the intent of this particular live session is. And meanwhile, I will also keep on taking some questions which are coming basically around the AIs, around the expectations from the chat. So feel free to keep on like adding questions on the chat as well. Whenever I get time and whenever I feel, hey, let's take some time, like apart from the content, I will pick those questions. Perfect. Now, talking about, let's quickly understand one simple thing: how things basically work. When I say how things basically work, we have to understand a couple of stuff. Whenever you are working on, okay, let me take in that fashion. So, okay, why you are not allowing me to basically even type? Okay, uh let me do that. What happened? Seriously, some problem? Okay, no worries. Let's try to understand, guys, what happens basically. Anywhere I can type. Okay, let's quickly understand what happens when we are on the browser, when we make request on the server, and then basically we have some databases and blah blah blah, right? So let's try to quickly understand couple of things which are important. Most of the people try to mug up things. They don't understand how things actually work. And I wanted to bring the clarity from the end-to-end execution of a request that goes around, so that you know what to do and where to do basically. So guys, couple of things we have to understand. This is in general how any request basically are made and how things are basically served in general for any web application. So this is a traditional web application that everyone understand. You have some client which is your browser, you make a request to the server, finally server goes to some databases and try to fetch the data, get the data, process that data, and finally send to the client. This is how the traditional every application basically works. Now I wanted to bring in notice couple of checkpoints that you have to understand. Anything that happens after this, anything that happens after this is something which is on the server side that you are doing. Anything that you can take a control over this side, right, is the client side basically things that we are talking about. Now, what are the controls that you have on this side and that side? So one of the control that I am going to talk about is your network layer. So when you are making a request using the right technologies and technique basically in the network layer, you can decide what need to be cached and what need to not to be cached. Although there are many decisions that are taken on the server, where there are configuration which are set to say that, hey, these are the things that can be cached or not, but network layer is one of the place where things can be cached. Second, if we talk about, definitely on server, you can have the caching on the server, either on the server database caching, or you can have Redis like caching on the server side. I'm not going to touch majority on the server side. I'm going to touch upon the client side of stuff. What are the other places basically you can cache things on the client? There is another things basically that you have to understand is first, which is in memory cache. What is this in memory cache, guys? What is in memory cache? In memory cache. In memory cache, guys, is your JavaScript layer. Like whenever your browser is executing, your JavaScript basically has a way to store in memory cache, so that whenever you are executing any code, you can put the data, you can retrieve the data from those variables or storage that we have, right? Now, there is another layer basically that we have, which is, we call it your browser level. What does it mean by browser level, guys? I will be talking about that as well. What is this browser? Anyone who can touch upon and talk about what is this browser level? So you can, when you have an application, you can store things on the in memory, you can store at a browser level, and I will talk about what this browser level is. When we talk about browser level primarily we talk about either you can store things on your local storage, or you can have your indexed DB, right? So index DB. So right. So local storage index DB. If many people are not aware of that, I can quickly show you. When you go to, say, suppose codekarma.dev example, you open your network tab, dev tool basically. You go to basically applications, and in application you have something called different kind of storage that we have. What are those different storage basically that I have? I wanted to quickly help you to understand. One is your local storage. Local storage is again your key pair value. People understand, those are the browser cache. People, so these are key pair values. Like key is a string and value is also a string, so you can store any number of key pair values basically in your local storage, and this persist. Even you close your tab, you come back, you will be able to see those storage. Everyone understand? In case you don't, we can talk about, right? Second is your index db. Index db is much more powerful compared to what we have in local storage, because you can store the actual JSON data, and a large set of data basically can be stored in a structured format, right? Which helps you to look up, do lot of crazy operation like you do on the backend DB. Like we do something on the backend DB, you can do something similar using index DB. Now, applications like WhatsApp, if in case you know about web.whatsapp.com, in case you are using Teams, right? In case you are using any of those complex application, you can go and check how much index db they are basically having. They are having a large set of index db basically they store. Let me try to pull in, if I can show you my, I am not going to definitely open my WhatsApp over here, but I can try pulling my index db cache as a matter of fact to show you what kind of information they store. Let me try to pull, if I can show you guys. Okay, I hope no one hacks anything over here. You don't become a hacker, at least for my account. Rest you can do whatever you want. So this is the index db. If you see, we can see the different databases data. So you see the amount of data basically those are stored over here. So I can show you a couple of more. Key pair values is okay. Model storage, you see the amount of data basically it stores. The different chats, you have block list, bot profile, business chats, normal chats, token IDs. You have a hell lot of information basically. You see all are index db, so don't copy the phone numbers over here. Okay, so you see the information basically that it has. Huge data basically, right? So download, timestamp, favorite, blah blah blah, the groups basically you are part of. This is all data which is stored on the client. So if you have not seen yours, go and try out and check out basically what kind of information it has. You see it's a very complex db structure basically which is sitting on your client. That's another you can say storage basically. I just wanted to give you glimpses, so that if you have not explored your index db, please go. This is very very powerful. Now coming to, so these are two storage basically that sits purely on the client. Then there is another interesting layer for the caching basically that exists, and that layer is called service worker. How many of you know what the hell the service worker is? How many of you know what the hell this service worker? Anyone who knows, quickly let me know in the comments so that I get an idea that people over here understand the service worker. People who sits over here, maybe they understand the service worker, what the hell it is, how it is useful, fruitful, what we do, what's the purpose, intent, anything that you can help me in the comment. I will get a fair understanding what's the purpose of this. Okay, I see a lot of things coming into chat. One thing I wanted to help you guys, service worker helps you to intercept any network request that goes from client to the server. Any request which is going from client to the server, it helps to intercept. When I say it helps to intercept, it means you can, yes, it, you can say that I am trying to fetch the list of products from the client. You can sit over here, intercept, and basically return the data from here itself. That kind of a interceptor it uses. Second, it helps you to cache the assets. When I say cache the assets, your HTML response, your JavaScript, CSS, images, videos, audios, whatever you can think of, it can help to cache and return those cache after intercepting those requests, avoiding it to go to the server, but basically intercepting and returning directly from here. So that's another power of service worker basically that we see. Now, again, finally, it has to go through the network once, one depending on if you are intercepting, it will return back. If there are cases where you wanted to update the cache in the background, finally make the network request on the server, that's what you can do. But interesting thing that you have to understand is in your network layer, you have a lot of headers which defines the properties, the ways browser can cache your data. Like if you have not seen those, I can quickly help you to understand a couple of them. Example, when I go reload this, so you will see, let's go to all, let me remove this GraphQL. So you will see there is lot of requests basically that goes. One of the status type that you see is something called 304, which is called not modified, which means you go to the server and ask, hey, I have some information I will talk about. There are some headers basically that are there which are related to max age, stale with you can say revalidate kind of a headers. There is a e tag basically which defines what was the content served per previous and what will be the new content kind of a thing. There are a couple of those core headers basically, those are defined. Especially you see e tag, cache control, couple of those is modified is another, which helps to identify to the server, go to the server and say that, hey, did anything change? Server will say, hey, nothing changed. So it won't get the response from the server, it will get the response from the, this response is actually generated from the, you can say, browser cache itself. So browser itself said, hey, this is the HTML you can use, because server did not responded with any data. So such things makes your life very faster because you don't have to download the data from the server. That's another power basically that you get. So similarly, there are many other you see there is memory cache, some things basically which are coming from the browser itself, it is not making request to the server in order to download these images. So how these are basically, there are something called disk cache, right? So many of those interesting things that happens behind the scene. What are different kind of a cache, what is done at a network layer, what can be done on the service worker layer, all of those things, as a matter of fact, in all of those depth I've already covered. In case you guys don't know, I know most of the people already are enrolled into, you can say, Namaste front end system design. In case you are not enrolled, I will recommend, please go and you will see many of those interesting things. Basically, I've covered. Basically, where is the module where I'm talking about? Is the this module covers all of those things in much detail. How you can basically make all of the things basically I'm talking about from the coding perspective. So it covers right. So let's see what all basically at a high level. So we talked about some of the HTTP caching, which is in your network layer, how you are setting the right headers, which helps you to do the caching out of box. Your browser understands those headers, browser helps to do that. Service worker, we talked about, you intercept and do some stuff over here. API caching, again, so you can leverage this API caching at multiple level. One of the ways basically you can store these data in any of those places, or you can store this data basically using something called GraphQL kind of a thing, which is like you make the data, you get the data from the API. Now next time someone need from on the client, you go to the server, you already have it in memory in the browser, either in the browser cache or in the state management using Redux, Justin, many of those you can say state management happen, or you use something called GraphQL kind of a thing, which helps you to reduce making call to the server, and it has its own way of basically managing the cache internally. Similarly, we talked about local storage, session storage. Most of the people have that myth. One thing I wanted to talk about, session storage is only available till the tabs are open. Once you close the tab, the data is gone. Once you close the tab, the data is gone. Very, very important, guys. Cookie, yes, this is the main way how we store the data in the client, and with every request we send the data, like our authentication token, right? Those are some primary thing. IndexDB, I have already shown you how complex things basically you can store, and how all the offline applications basically that exist on the browser uses something called IndexedDB, right? So to store the data on the client, do something crazy on the client, kind of a thing. Cool. So at a high level, guys, these are some stuff. If you have any question in any of those, you can say database and caching layer, do let me know. I will be happy to answer those. And I have a lot of quizzes basically to start with. Before we go into the quizzes, let me quickly check if anything has anyone have any questions on the chat. So I see. Does it support in offline mode, and can it affect the DOM? Okay, so talking about, if you're talking about service worker, yes, it works on the offline mode. Can we control the DOM from the service worker? There are ways. There are ways to access and perform some activity on the DOM, but not directly. There are ways which I have done in past. What I mean by how you can leverage it, basically think about, it's a way to communicate with your real thread, right? Real thread which is having access to the DOM. So what I have done in past, basically your service worker becomes a messenger which says that, hey, I understand this has to be done, now perform the activity. Who performs the activity is from the your main thread. Your main thread has access to the real DOM and can perform real activity. So this is kind of a messenger that happens from the service worker, but real operation happens in your main thread. That's how basically you leverage the combo to perform some activities. So that way, let me see. Generally used in the design, the like I understand progressive web app is one of the case, but there are many other use cases, especially related to the performance we leverage using the service worker. So it is very powerful. Okay, let me know if you have any more questions. Basically, I will be happy to take those questions from the chat. So let's see what are the other questions that we have. Someone is asking, I'm a full stack dev with a 2 year of experience. Should I stick with a full stack or choose just one FE or B? Very important thing, guys. Whatever stream you are in, you love, either that is front end or back end, master it. If you don't master, if you are just working on the surface and you feel like, trust me, it is going to become very difficult if you don't master one of the stream. Master at least one stream and then explore the wider world. That's how you will be able to be relevant in the industry, and you will be able to grow in the industry. If you think I touch all the surfaces and that is going to be good enough for me, no. Breadth is okay, you should have understanding of every area, but expertise in one area is very much needed. Like you cannot survive without that, trust me. Very difficult. Okay, so let's start with some quiz in that case. Shall we? Okay, shall we start with some quiz? Okay, let's do it. Why not? Shall we go ahead? So does it work only with the HTTP? Yes. Service workers, basically you have to, they are a constraint, like HTTP only kind of a constraint. Okay, let's play with some quiz over here. So shall we? Let's start some quiz, guys. Let's see how many of you. So I'm going to give you some practical use cases. You tell me among multiple strategies that I have talked about, which one basically you are going to use, right? So these are scenario based questions basically, which I'm going to talk about. And let's see how many of you basically can help with some relevant answers now. Okay, I see something is cut off, not able to see the entire one. Let me fix it out. Probably this is better. Okay. Cool. So are we ready, everyone? So I want definitely answers in the chat. So please, guys, help me with the relevant thing that you feel is for those scenarios. Okay, let's go one at a time. The first one first. So I have a scenario. Basically, your app frequently fetches product listing information from a API. Now, how would you reduce the number of repeated requests across page load? Like I'm doing a multiple reload or a new tab, basically I'm opening. I wanted to avoid those requests because I fetched those requests just before, like in the previous call, right? How we can avoid that? What do you think, guys? How we can avoid repeated network call, which are API related network call, so that we don't have to fetch those data again and again. Example, user information. I'm reloading my app every time I need the user information to show in the top. Do I really need to basically make a call for user API again and again if there are no changes basically in DB? What can we do? Someone is smart enough, like use there for this. It's a very easy one, guys. It's a really easy one because there are multiple ways to basically handle this. There are multiple ways to handle this, these kind of request. There are many ways, right? So depending on, because we are talking about product listing API, session storage is not a good idea. Generally in session storage, we store user related information which are not very much bulky. So you have to understand, when we say session storage, so it comes with a cost, right? Local storage, product listing information you can definitely store. You have to be cautious in terms of, if you are not logged in user, logged in, if someone else logged in the same browser, what will happen in those particular cases? So you have to be cautious in many of those cases when you are basically doing anything, you are storing the information. Redux, you reload, your data is gone, next time again it is going to fetch the data. So Redux is also not relevant over here. So Redux is not going to helpful. If not sensitive, then people are saying you can put in the local storage. Yes, you can put in the local storage, but remember guys, whenever you are putting anything in local storage, let's have our TTL, which is time to live. You cannot store things in the local storage forever. It is error prone, it is going to be sensitive, it is going to come with a cost, security concerns are associated with that. The easy one, you put the things on your HTTP headers itself, like saying that, hey, I have some cache control or e tag, based on that I can control basically what is the data I have. The other thing, basically, as you said, you can pull this information, store in your IndexedDB or local storage, but remember it should have a TTL with that, right? Not that sensitive, because most of the product listing things are public. Like if you go to Facebook or Amazon, the product listing in general basically are same, until there are some recommendation or customization which are done. But at a high level, it is good enough. Okay, let's talk about another use case basically, guys. Okay, this is something you have to hear it properly. So you want user to be able to access your blog offline, in offline mode basically, including images and your post, right? They have already viewed, so the things that people have already viewed, now they wanted to leverage that a blog basically in an offline mode. So what caching mechanism is leveraged, especially to support the offline scenarios, guys, where once you have loaded thing, now next time you come, even you don't have internet, you are still able to basically access your data. What is that caching mechanism basically that are used in such cases? Cool, wanted to hear from everyone. In such cases, what caching mechanism you are going to leverage? Important, guys. Okay, I see interesting thing coming around. So there are multiple part to it, guys. You have to be very cautious when I'm asking things. Example, who is going to help to interrupt basically in and provide the support in offline scenario? Service worker. But service worker does not store the information, service worker intercept the information. Now depending on what kind of a data you wanted to store, example, if you wanted to store the images, so how, where do you store the images, guys? In service worker's responsibility is not to store the images. You use cache APIs to store the data in the browser cache. So service worker helps to access those cache APIs and basically return the data, but service worker doesn't store the information, guys. Very important. Other is your post related information. When I say post, it is like your content that is there in the post, heading, title, blah blah blah, all the text related information. Now do you wanted to put into the cache, browser cache, for the content related information? Probably not. So in such cases, you can use IndexedDB basically to store your text related information and pull that information wherever needed, right? So service worker with browser cache API plus index DB is something which are deadly combination in such case. Cool. I hope everyone able to understand. Let me know if you have any doubt, guys. If you are able to understand, say yes, yes, yes in the chat, so that I get an idea that you are able to understand the use case we are talking about. So guys, remember, we are talking about images also caching. We are talking about some text content that need to be cached. We are talking about offline support. So generally people say that, hey, you have to do something offline, service worker. No, service worker alone can't do everything. It does not have control of everything. It has to leverage different part of browsers in order to make it happen. What are those different part is something important. Cool. Okay, let's see another one. How many of you can basically access? Talk about how would you securely store a user login session so that it persists across the tab but not after closing the browser. When you close the browser, your user session information is basically gone. But if you are not closed, you are logged in and you go to the multiple tab, you are still able to access those information. What is that? What is that mechanism which helps to basically access cross tab when you are logged in, and as soon as you close, your user information is gone. Like you again try to open back your browser, you have to log in again, your information is gone. Any real word application that you can tell where you might have seen this use case very often? Very often such use cases, cookies information still persists. Cookies information does not go. If you close the tab, you reopen, it will be there. It will be there. Anyone who can tell me the real application where you have seen that, where you are using with multiple tab, it's okay, as soon as you close, you come back, you are not able to access these information, your session information? Any real world example? YouTube you can, why not? YouTube, you come back, your informations are there. Any real world application who can, anyone can relate? Definitely it's a session storage, not the cookies. Cookies do exist even you close your tab and come back, guys. Very important. Now, one thing I can help you to understand, like you might have be using banking sector. Bank application, guys, very important. Bank application, as soon as you close the tab, you come back, boom, you have to basically again basically log in. It can't help. But many of those time when you open the new tab, it do support, right? You are able to access your user information, blah blah blah, but not always. Like as you close the tab, all gone, you have to come back, log in again, and that is how basically it works. So session storage is the savior in such cases, and banking systems are one of the primary users of this technique. Okay, let me see what about the next one. What I did, I opened the same one. Okay, here is interesting. Your React app needs a cache frequently used API responses for a short interval. Like I wanted to store the API responses not for a long interval, but only for the 5 minute, and then invalidate them afterwards. What would be you are going to use? Like this is a time where I can change from the client. I don't have to ask the server to keep on changing that information. Depending on the user, depending on the customer, I wanted to take a control and say that the API response on the client should be at 5 minute, 10 minute, 1 minute, or whatever it is. I should be able to take a control from the client. What is that right strategy that you think is good enough in order to do that? HTTP caching is tricky. HTTP caching you do from the server. You don't control it from the client. How much duration basically you wanted to cache for, right? So these are set from the server in terms of the response header. You don't have control in the HTTP, you can say caching from the client. Okay, I see people talking about one way is, as you said, you can use your local storage or IndexedDB with a TTL, time to live. Like how long you want your data to be stored or relevant. Basically after that it is invalid, you should not basically leverage it. It should go deleted, right? The other is you can leverage your in-memory techniques as well. Like you can use some management tool like state management tool which has like React query or SWR, in case you have not heard about that. Using SWR you can also configure your TTL, time to live. The time to live and the relevancy of that particular network call you can basically define in your client application, in your memory. So in case you don't know, leverage the SWR is one of the very much popular client side, you can say uh, cache management, you can say, what we call it, not extension but library, that way. So leverage that. Cool. I have another one interesting. Let's see how many of you can answer. You need to, this is very interesting, guys. Please hear it properly and answer it. I want answer from everyone who's here, right? You need to store a user's theme information like light mode and dark mode and sync it across the tab instantly. How would you will be basically doing it? You understand what I meant by? I have tab 1, 2, 3, 4. In one tab, I'm saying make it dark mode. Now, ideally, what should happen when I go to the other tabs also, everyone should become a dark mode automatically. Else, it will be out of sync. One is dark mode, other is like light mode, dark mode, light mode, dark mode, light mode, which is not relevant altogether. In such cases, what is the technique that you are going to do? Use in order to ensure that all the tabs are syncing out of box behind the scene, so that if it is light mode then every tab is light mode, if it is dark mode then every tab is dark mode. What is the technique that you are going to use in order to make it happen? Let me see. So this is local storage. Until you go and refresh it, it will not update. Until let's go and like refresh the page, your local storage update will not come to your JavaScript or your React. It won't happen automatically. You have to go to the other tab, reload, and then it will fetch the local storage key, and then you will be able to see the different tag. Store theme info in my local storage. That's not going to help. Just having that, having just local storage or context, not going to help. Trust me, doesn't work in that fashion. I can show you something. Let's see if it has. Tell me any application which has dark mode and light mode kind of a thing. You know any application which has dark mode and light mode? Anyone? Any application top of your mind which has dark mode, light mode? It has, I think. I saw somewhere. Where is that? There was a dark mode and light mode in this also. Where is that option? I think I can't find it. Dude, you were somewhere. If I'm correct. Canvas, background. Oh, this is the one. So if I see this is, so let me show you guys. So let's try to see what I'm talking. Try. Duplicate. Now, what I'm saying, if I go and change it light mode, now you see all of them become the light mode. How come this become the light mode in other tabs also? This is my question. Someone did it behind the scene. Everyone become the light mode. Who made it light mode is my question. How? What technique basically we leveraged in order to make it happen? I see people are talking about put in the local storage just and put in the in memory. It will happen out of box. No. If you put, people are saying put in the Redux, it will happen out of box. No, it's not going to happen. It is not going to happen, guys. It is not going to happen. Let's see. Anyone who can tell me, anyone who tells me the answer, I'm 100% going to take your mock interview live. Let's see who can answer this. Anyone who answers this, I will for sure take your mock interview live. Come on, let's see who can come up with the answer of this. You need to store a user's theme preferences somewhere which maintains the light mode or the dark mode and sync it across the tab instantly. What would you do in such cases? No, even cookie doesn't work. React Dev example. Let's see. React Dev, someone said, has light mode and dark mode kind of a thing. So if I go over here, I'm going to open multiple tabs. Let's see if React Dev does those heavy lifting. Light mode. You see, guys, the challenge that I was talking about. So you see, it is a light mode and it is a dark mode. It is dark mode. Now it is light mode, dark mode, light mode. You see how inconsistent it is. Whereas if you go over here, I make it dark mode. You see, I go to all the other places, it is dark mode. What is happening? Who is doing this job? Who is doing this job? Now, if I reload this, you will see it will become light mode, because that is what I did in the last. But if I make it dark mode example, you see it is still light mode. Unless I go and refresh, it will basically still be the same. I'm hoping it will be somewhere stored as a part of, let's see, as a part of their local storage. That's what I'm thinking. You see, the theme is light mode and dark mode. When you change it, going to help you. Interesting thing. When you change it as an light mode, you see it is light. When I go over here, I try to go and access the application local storage. It is light, but do you see? Just saying it is a light mode, it does not change anything over here. Saying I am light, you see, did your application update? No. I have to reload so that it reads this information and converts into light mode. That is exactly the problem I was talking about. Who can do this job? Let's see, anyone who can answer. Okay, by the way, if you're not able to answer, do one thing, guys. Take a screenshot of this, okay? And obviously do tag me if possible, and ask in your network, ask in social media and multiple places. Let's see how many of you, how many people basically can answer this. No, it's not going to use effect trigger. It will not automatically. It is not going to happen. It is not going to happen out of box, guys. There is something extra needed over here. What is that? I can help you. So go ask in social media wherever possible. Let's see how many of your friend and network basically can answer this. Okay, let me try to help you to understand what technique basically we can leverage over here. We understood if you are using local storage. Local storage by default is not reactive. What does it mean? It is not going to tell to everyone that, hey, I got changed. No, it doesn't tells everyone out of box. You have to use something called storage events. So there are browser storage events which you can use, which is going to help you to let people know that something got changed in the storage. Now you can use some use effect or something in order to identify what got changed, but you have to add a trigger on a storage event listener. That is something important, guys. If you are not aware, again, you can Google it out. You can go and learn from the courses basically that I have, anywhere where you wanted to basically learn. The other use case is basically, which is called broadcast channel API. So like you have multiple web API, there is another called broadcast channel API. In that case, you don't have to maintain in your local storage. You just keep on broadcasting. So you are on one tab, you perform an activity, you broadcast to all the other tabs, so that all the different tabs basically get to know something got changed, and what got changed, you leverage it over there. So if you like it, loved it, do share everywhere, and just do let me know if you love this approach. Okay, let's have another use case, guys. So your video learning platform lets user watch videos offline and sync their progress when they reconnect. What technology do we use? So you understood what we are saying? We are saying you are able to leverage offline support, but at the same time, your progress can be synced as soon as you are back. Like you are watched 50% of the video, 100% of the video. Somewhere this progress has to be tracked on the remote in the database. Which technique we can use in order to ensure that once you are reconnected, we are able to sync things back to the server? What do you think is the right approach basically to handle it? Let's see. Hear it out once again, guys. You are using some video learning platform. Let's you are asking your user, hey, use your videos offline, leverage it. The only important thing is I want to sync your progress even you are watching in the offline mode. It should not be like you are watching. I don't know what if you watched or you did not watch it, right? That progress has to be watched, looked into in offline. Polling won't work basically once you are in offline mode, right? And you might have done the progress in multiple videos. I wanted to keep a track of all the progress that you have done in offline mode, and once you are online, I wanted to make some request and save this information in my remote DB. How do we do that? What technique, what technology we use in order to make it happen? Let's see how many of you can answer it. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun if you can answer this or not. Let's see how many of you can answer this. I see some interesting thing. People talking about some online event we have to listen to. Okay. What else? What else? What else? What else? We store the values in the index DB, and once online, we can pull them from an update. Are you going to manually do that job? So keeping a track, you are offline, online, then basically doing some stuff manually. And what all were not synced, what was synced, how you are going to maintain that information, where you are going to maintain that information. So your data about how much videos you have watched, about the data, about the you can say user activities, has to be stored in index DB, so that even in offline mode you are able to store the information on the client side. That is 100% true. Now I am not denying at all, but the technique to sync the information from your index DB to the server once you are online, what is the right place? Probably let me show you if you know or you don't know about that. uh, so you have some background services, guys, right? So I'm not going to talk about all of them basically, but there is something called let me show you. There's something called background sync, right? So you can use the background sync in order to perform some activities behind the scene, right? Behind the scene. Now you can leverage uh, like there are periodic sync that exist. There are background syncs that you don't have to manually handle on the client side, but it helps you to do the behind the scene once you are online. Hey, I can help you to basically sync your information to the server. So those kind of techniques basically you can leverage, which you can see, you will be able to see the state of those operations that has been done, right? Many of those things basically can be done out of box over here. So leverage, if you have not basically tried it out, I will highly recommend go and check it out, and let's see and ask people if they know, they have ever seen those things basically happening. Okay, so let me see if by any chance, if I can pull you the information from WhatsApp. Let's see. In case I'm able to show that, I will be happy. Okay, I can't. Let me also check one of the application if I can pull the information. I'm pretty much sure something is done in Slack and Team, but let me see if by any chance I can drive that information. Let me try to do that if I'm able to pull the information and show you exactly. Tada, 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 tada. Background segment need to work in the combination. Yes, you can definitely. Uh, you are correct. I don't see any active by any by chance. I don't have any place where I see this active one. Okay, no worries. I don't see anything active in any of the app. But if I could find basically in future, I will be happy to showcase you exactly. Okay, let's go for another one. A user submit a long form but loses connection before the completion. How would you save their progress for the recovery later? Like, obviously, the network call is gone. You are not able to make the request because it the Now either you fail and say that hey, submit it again, or you retain the person on the same page, whatever technique you are going to use. Let's see. So I did perform some job. I was supposed to complete and I can move it to the other part, but because internet basically got failed, I couldn't submit that. What you want me to do? I want to unblock the user so that they can continue and perform some activity on the application. Even one of the requests basically got failed. One is definitely you can retry from the client and check if there is a network, you can say internet is there. If there, in retry you will be able to do that if it is a small glitch. If it is not a small internet glitch, it is more than that. I want still people to continue and perform some other activities. Let them not block because they were not. And also we don't want people to again submit the long form. It's a pain in the ass most of the time, right? We wanted to avoid that. How we can do that? How we can do that? Let's see how many of you can basically think of. Anyone who can think of? Let's see. Anyone who can think of the scenario? I did my job. Now it's on you should basically take care of ensuring that my data is stored in the server once the internet is back. Same thing, guys. You leverage the IndexedDB to store the information on the form, and once internet is back, your background sync process basically can ensure that data is synced to the server in background. By the way, so that is something that can be done. Very important, guys. Many people don't know when I say background. Literally, there are scenarios where you are not having that tab open, guys. You are not on website basically at that time, but your background sync job will can do that. So there are some cool stuff. If you really wanted to understand, we can talk further, but try to understand it does even your website is not up, hence we call it background sync, right? So there are cool stuff related to that. I'm just giving you a heads over on that. One more use case. I think we covered this use case. Oh, okay, I think we covered it. Okay. Okay, so there is another one. You notice your app is making the same GraphQL query multiple times on the same page. What is the fix? You see, you are making a multiple similar GraphQL query again and again and again. How you can avoid that? How you can avoid that? You don't want to make a multiple GraphQL call again and again. What can we do, guys? How can we fix? But yeah, the previous answer that you're talking about, when I close my tab, the technique that we are talking about is not going to work if I close my tab. Okay, for this, for GraphQL, guys, you can use, as we talked about, HWR or Apollo client. You can use those libraries which can help you. Yes, you can use Apollo client or you can use HWR kind of a thing, where you can use the right cache policies. Using right cache policies, you can avoid making those requests to the server. You can use only cache. You can use first cache and then basically making a network call. Network first. There are many strategies basically you can leverage in order to fetch the data. Okay, let's give another shot. You are building a server rendered app where authenticated users data must be available on the first load. How would you achieve this securely? What I meant by, okay, let me put it in another way. Which you can say header properties you are going to use to ensure the user information, especially the token and all sort of thing, should not be able to access from the client. It should be set from the server and accessed from the server. You should not be able to access any you can say user information from the headers. For such cases, what kind of a property you apply on those headers? Anyone? You have multiple headers. in one of the header you have the information related to user. You don't want basically client side to access and manipulate that information. What is that header that you are going to use in order to make it happen? Let's see who can answer this. Guys, we have one more after this. So I want more and more answers for this. We have a last quiz after this. Let's see how many of you can answer this. Be quick. Let's see. Secured cookie. How do you secure those cookie? How do you secure cookie? Okay, good. You can put the data in the cookie. You secure the cookie, but how do you secure the cookie? Yeah, so you can use something called HTTP only. Good one, Saurav. So you can use HTTP only, through which you won't be able to access on the client, but you are able to access things on the server and manipulate on the server. So you have control on the server, not on the client. So one last thing, guys. You want to show a recently viewed items list across tabs and sessions. What combination of tool you are going to use? We have talked about this technique multiple times, just bringing multiple use cases. Example, you go to Amazon, you added something in the cart in one tab, there are multiple other tabs which are open in Amazon. What will happen? So you may see some of the items in one of the tab and other tabs are not having all the items that you added to the cart. In such case, I want my cart to be updated irrespective of how many tabs I have opened. My cart value should be updated. It should be talking about the same. Some people are saying I can use socket IO, like two-way connection. Why? You just wanted to sync the data between the tabs on the client. How do you sync the data within on the client within, you can say, different tab? What is the best technique that we have, guys? Just broadcast it, right? You broadcast from one tab to the other tab, all the tab will get to know, hey, there is something got added in the cart. Either you pull the information from the server or you take the information which is provided by the other tab, right? So but at least other tab will get to know something is changed in the cart, which is very important, right? You don't want it to ask come people and basically click on make payment or buy something when they are seeing the old information, right? They are seeing only two items, but actually you added four items from different places. You click on at pay and suddenly you see the payment of four items where you are all shown only two items previously, right? You don't want those hiccup to happen. So such cool stuff basically can be done over here. By the way, guys, one thing, in case two stuff, in case you have not already part of you can say Namaste front end system design, I will recommend please go try it out. You will definitely learn a lot of interesting use case and scenarios in this particular course. Second, if you have not started practicing from codekarma.dev, I will highly recommend please go. And if you have not enrolled into like 30 days of JavaScript course over here, trust me guys, it's going to change the way basically you have been learning the JavaScript and the depth basically that I try to cover over here. So please go try it out, try questions, try to complete one session on daily basis. You will have great learning and you will become very easily pro in JavaScript. So give a shot, try it out guys. You will see how things basically changes after this, and do go practice as many questions basically you can. Let me know what are the new capabilities you want in this particular application, and I will be happy to add on more capabilities and feature. Trust me, those are very much refined problem statement which I'm adding over here so that you go and crack any interview in the industry. So that's the intent basically that I'm having with the Code Karma platform at this moment. Cool. So yeah, any questions, any doubt, I'm happy to basically take those questions. Feel free to ask me anything, any question that you have, guys. Thanks, by the way, thanks for coming on Saturday. We will have keep on having more such live sessions where you are free to ask anything, and I'm happy to answer any questions, any doubt, any concerns that you are having. And keep giving a shout out, guys, if these sessions are helping the work that I am doing, the platform basically that we are bridging, right? The course basically that I am working on. Your shout out basically, you're just saying some thanks on the public forum helps me to reach out to more people. That really really helps. So it pushes me to basically wake up every day early in the morning, pushes me to sleep late in the evening so that I can create those content and platform for you guys. So I definitely need support from you guys. And that's what I can say. It is not the easy one to come out from your comfort zone, from what you are doing basically at your job, what is expected from your office, because that pays your bill right? And this is something which I have to really put a lot of effort in order to come out, and I need support from you guys. Cool. So guys, come on, what questions you have? I will be happy to answer anything that you have. Any question you have, keep bombarding. I will be taking. Are there front end opening in Microsoft since they have been? So there are two part. Even they are layoff, you will see openings are still there. People are hiring. But again, if I talk about that is dependent on org by org. Example, in my org, there is a freeze that has happened. We are not hiring in my org, but you will find different org where those people are still basically hiring. So you will find jobs. Sir, in my current company in front end dev Angular code base, but my manager gives me only UI styling task. Sometimes some functionality. He never trusts anyone while implementing the functionality feature. Gangadhar. So you have to understand that trust comes with your past work, the kind of the outcome that you have basically delivered in past. Sometimes what you have to do, you have to go above and beyond in order to build the trust. You might not have got the task from your manager or your team, but you see there is something which has to be improved. Go work on it and showcase to your manager that hey, this is something which I worked on, right? And I can do that. Eventually you will see that trust will start coming. The other important thing, try to focus on the quality. The lesser the bug that you will have, the more stable feature that you are going to deliver, the more trust you will have from your manager and your team and your company. So please try to deliver more quality work where you have lesser bugs. That way you will have more trust. Even for, there was a time when you say I'm a fresher, I have 1 year, 1 month, 2 month, or a couple of months experience. Now in AI world, there is no one I consider as a fresher, right? So you have lot of ways to basically get your job done. You have ways, you are not dependent only on your senior in order to help you out, right? You have AIs basically to help you out with lot of your queries, questions, to help you review your code, find out bugs. There are many things that can be done. Are we smart enough in order to leverage the AIs in order to find out the challenges that in our solutions, right? If you are not leveraging AI to the topmost stuff, then I can't help on that, right? Storage event in the local storage, Bipin, I already talked about. Yes, there are. Would you open giving the referral if I reach out to opening? Yeah, yes, definitely. I will be happy to do that, but only humble request. Whoever reach out to me on LinkedIn saying that, hey, can you help me with the referral? I would need only one request, which is please showcase your work that you have done. If you are just bombarding me with tons of resume saying that, hey, Chirag, refer me, it's not going to work, because you have to understand two things I need. One, you give me the job ID, what job ID basically on the portal you want me to refer. Second, some work that you have done, because when I refer, I really go to the people who are hiring and literally refer, not instead of just going to the portal and applying on the portal. Just going in the portal and just applying on the portal in the in format of form, it doesn't help most of the time unless you go and reach out to the people who are hiring. And I does the second one, and for that I have to be confident on people whom I am referring. That way, not getting enough interview call from the mid-size or the large company, any suggestion? Leverage, you have to be fast in terms of when the opening, like when there is an opening, you have to reach out to the people, you have to build good connection on the industry, and you have to reach out for referrals. So with the referrals you will be easily able to get in into the system, as compared to just applying and waiting for the call to happen. In today's world, it's very difficult. You think about, right? 6K people in Microsoft who are impacted, they are one of the top cream people in the industry, isn't it? If they are impacted, they will be definitely looking for jobs in other top companies. So you have to think from that perspective, right? So you have to compete with the top cream. Basically, you are not the only one who are looking for the job. The top cream in the industry are also looking for the job. So you have to be fast, you should have connections, right? And you should be always prepared if you are really looking to join some and the big companies. Cool. So guys, if these sessions are helpful, please give us shout out on social media. That really helps me, and we'll love to connect again next month on the live session. But before that, you will see a lot of content that I'm going to share come up back on the YouTube. So see you again. Thanks for all the love and support that you guys have, and we'll see you, meet you in the next month live session. Bye bye. Thank you guys.